Hey YouTube, I got this '07 Expedition and had a couple videos about it, and we had a fender bender. Uh, Somebody went through a red light and I had to replace this fender, so I got it painted and bolted up. It looks pretty good, but with the insurance money, rather than having a body shop replace that fender and this front bumper, I thought I'd go and give these move bumpers a try. They're based out of Montana. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about them, and I think they're great value for what they are, and with some basic welding skills. Mine aren't very good, but I think I'll be able to make a pretty sturdy bumper for this thing. And I will get a winch in here as well. So I just got started. For getting this old bumper off of here, it has some clips in here on the Expedition, right in the back of here. It's kind of hard to see. There's some videos on YouTube of getting the clips on the bumper through these slots in here, and then once the bumper's off, it kind of leaves this grill free, just hanging in here. So it makes it hard to measure, to know how centered your bumper is going to be, since it's not rigid and it's pretty flexible. But I did go ahead and mark center on here, and then I marked center on the bumper and was able to get them pretty closely lined up. It might be off just a little bit. There's my marks. So it does seem to be centered, because the edge of this main bumper piece and this little fin there line up on both sides, and then that marking lines up. And then when I pull the pull the grill into the bumper, it seems to have made up pretty well. So first I bolted these bumper brackets on. I just have a couple of bolts holding them on, and got them cranked down pretty tight. And then I put a couple of tacks in there, and then I held this in place, had my wife just tack it for me so that it would hold. And it's pretty rigid, even just with a few tacks in there. I was able to start putting this wing on, and it's a little iffy welding the wing on, tacking it on there, because you're not sure how it's going to affect the rest of this going up and out, and how it's going to match up with the headlight. But it seems like it'll be fine. I can fill this with weld and then get it all ground out. This fits in there pretty well. I want to try to keep that gap underneath the headlight consistent, and even if these aren't totally good, I'm going to weld that and then grind it out. I think the move instructions do say to chamfer these, grind and chamfer those first. I probably should have gotten started on that before I've gone this far, but I was so excited to get this thing just started. I may do some more grinding on it before I do the final weld up, to get some better weld penetration. And then got this out here. I do want this to come up to bring that gap a little closer, so I'll probably cut some of these welds and then just lift this up so that that gap is a little closer. But it lines up pretty well with that fender arch. And then I'll trim away this plastic, the inner fender liner there. So I will bring you along as I do this. It's hard to hold everything in place and video at the same time, but I didn't see any videos of doing this on an Expedition, and so just thought I'd talk a little bit about this, and then when I figure out a way to get this attached on here so it's not just hanging around anymore, I'll share that too. But bring you along on this, and hopefully this project goes well. Okay, I did a little bit of chamfering just to try to get some better weld penetration, and I got things lined up all right here. It still feels a little weird, like it's just hanging out in space, but the truss that moved did a good job on their bends and their angles, and see if it works. I'll tack this up real quick, set you down for a minute with my so I can use my other hand. Okay, so I just tacked it there and there, and we'll keep on going. So up here there are a couple of pieces. So first we've got this piece that goes in underneath the headlight. That profile kind of fits underneath there. Need a couple hands to get that set up, and once I'm close I'll bring it back. Okay, so it looks like I need to bring this wing in a little bit because this gap is off if I have it lined up here. So I need to bring this out and up a bit to get a gap that I like here below the headlight, and so to do that it leaves me a big gap here. So I'm gonna split this weld and tilt it in a little bit. It'll leave a little bit of a gap here, but I think I can split the difference with something that looks a little nicer. So I'll work on that and I'll bring you back when I got it closer. Okay, so I've got that gap a little better. I just cut that weld, creates just a tiny gap here. Still looks pretty good down below here. I'm lifting it up with my knee and pushing it back in a little bit, and I like how that looks. So I'll throw a few tacks on here and then we'll keep on moving. Just a sec. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I like how that clearance looks in there. Everything's shaping up all right. I just threw another tack on there, and then the next little piece that, well, I think on the other side I did the wing first, but there's a gap here gets filled with this piece, so this kind of fits in like so, and just meets the fender underneath the headlight. So on this side I'm going to do a little bit more to make sure that I have this up nice and tight, but I do think I'll throw the, well, maybe I'll do this first, and then I'll throw that other end piece on here. I can see just right now, based on how it's fitting, I think I'm going to bend this little tab up a little bit to make some room. I'll do that and then I'll get this tacked right back up. Okay, so I did originally tack this piece in here, but it wasn't lining up once I put this side piece on here, so I tried to tack this up in a way that held this up as far as possible. Yeah, I do want this to be up higher. There's a kind of a structural steel piece right here that I think I may make a bracket that I can bolt onto this piece that will help support this up after when I do the final install. So I'll show you that if I get that put together. But for now I'm just gonna tack this piece up here, and here's how this piece looks. It has this angle, fits in from behind. It's kind of tight because the air ride compressor's up in here, and because I only have one hand, but I'll fit it in here and bring it right back. Okay, there we go. So I do like that. It's a little better than on the other side. I still have to put the plastic trim on here, but I'm gonna wait until after I can get the bumper done, and then I'll pull this outside and do a wet sand and then buff it down just to take some of the orange peel out of here. So I'm getting closer. I'll do a shot of it with what's done so far so we can start to see what it's going to look like. It will also have a bull bar on the front just to help keep the radiator safe in case we have another collision. Okay, so I've got these brackets for the bull bar on the move bumper, and I want to make sure that I can get these boxed in. It'll make them quite a bit stronger, and I think it'll look better. So I've got a piece of steel here. I think it might be about 3/16. It's not quite a 1/4 inch, but still pretty hefty, and I think it'll work well. So I've got them laid out here. I'm going to trace this out and then plasma cut these out. I'm not going to worry too much about, well, this is going to be covered. This will be up against the base of the bumper, or the top of the bumper. And then after I get these welded on and then get this backing piece welded on, I'll use a piece of thinner metal to just tack and work my way, bending it along as I go. So we'll see how this works. Okay, I haven't cut out those plates yet, but because I have the welder and everything in the over here by the car, so I figured while I'm here I'll get this tacked up. I marked the center, and I need to be, I think it's 16.5 inches out to each side. So I've got that here, pretty close. Come on, yeah, right on. And I'm using one of these little fireball tool magic squares, fireball tools. If you haven't encountered them online, is local to the Spokane, Washington area where I'm at, and Jason is the inventor of these things, and they're really nice to be able to clamp on and have a pretty precise square and a way to hold things vertical and horizontal and squared to each other. So I've got this all squared up right on the line that I need to be at, and then I'm just gonna hold this against here and get it welded on. I was wondering a little bit why it has this tab sticking down farther than the rest of it, but it's just for positioning so you can get it right up tight on there. So I'm gonna hold this up against the magic square and just tack it on, and I'll bring you right back as soon as I'm done tacking this on. Okay, that's on there. It's got a couple of tacks, and didn't seem like the tacks pulled it away from the square at all. It's nice and tight, so I'm gonna repeat and do the same on the other side. Okay, those are on there. Everything seems square. They're right on 33 inches apart at the base and at the top, so I'll try and get these bars in here and figure out a way to get them, or not bar, but tubing, and figure out a way to get them centered and square and all that. So I'll bring you right back in a minute. Okay, we got the bar on here. It looks like this is pointing in the right direction, so that's good, and seems to be excuse me, fairly square. I worked out kind of a way to make sure that this was even by using this magic square. I just put it up in here with the taper and then measured my clearance up on this top corner, and it was the same on both sides, so I could make sure that it's the same height above this tapered surface. So measuring from here up to my second bar should be a little easier. I'll find something standard to set that height. I might use this. We'll see. I'll hold it up and see what I think of it, and go from there. And then I tacked it, and everything's looking good to me. So I'll get started on the second bar and see what I come up with. One other thing, I also measured from front to back here, and it is the same on both sides. I tacked one side and then I moved the other side around till it matched up perfect. So that's the method to my madness here. Okay, so I've got this level. It's just about a little over 2.5 inches high. I think height-wise that looks pretty good, and I like how it kind of, I've got it pretty even with the back of these, and I like how it kind of puts this top bar just a little bit farther back than the lower bar, and so I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and tack it up right here, and since it's kind of supporting itself there, should be able to do this on camera, and so you can see how terrible my welding skills are. Do the same on both sides. And I'll do one in the front too. So I think that's good for now. I'll pull the level out of there. And sorry for the handy cam action. So that's about it. I definitely think this will look a little less goofy if I box this in. So I will move forward with that plan, and then I think I'll do it with this off of the vehicle, and then I'll see about trying to rig up some kind of a bracket that lets me get underneath here, and I can use that structure right over there, kind of where the side of the bumper hits there, to make a bracket that I can bolt on when I bolt the bumper up, just to give the sides a little more help. So that's how she's looking so far. Thanks for sticking with me with my amateur hour welding and videoing skills.